Let's talk about the nature of the church. The term church in the New Testament is the Greek term ekklesia. It speaks about a congregation, not a building or a denomination or anything like that. It's just a group of people who are gathered together for a specific purpose. It's used in a more secular sense in passages in Acts, like Acts 19 and 32 and 41, to describe a political assembly, a group of people gathered together to transact business in a city. And you can see that example. Now some cried out one thing, some another, for the assembly was in confusion. That's the same word, ekklesia, the church, if we were to translate it the same way we translate other places. It's not a church, it's just a political group that are gathered together representing a city. It's also used most often in the New Testament to describe local churches. For example, the Church of God that is in Corinth in 1 Corinthians 1:2. So I think out of the 118 or so, plus or minus a couple, references to the church in the New Testament, most often it describes a local congregation, a church in a specific city or location. Sometimes it is used a bit broader as well, though. It describes the churches throughout a region or an area or even perhaps broader. Acts 9:31, for example, describes the church throughout all of Judea and Galilee and Samaria. So it's not just individual congregations anymore. The church is viewed collectively as a group, as a larger body made up of various individual local congregations. Now, when we think about what the biblical picture of a church is, there are a number of things that mark out a church. And I've tried to describe a few of them here in a list. Some of them, most of them are mentioned really in Acts 2:41 and 42, one of the early pictures of the church. And what we try to do is simply say, what are some of the things we see the church doing in the book of Acts? The passage says, so those who received his word, there's preaching or teaching, were baptized, we have baptism. They were added that day about 3,000 souls. They devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship and to the breaking of bread, presumably speaking not just of meals, but of the Lord's Supper, and prayers. And you can see many of those things here. Evangelism and missions, baptism, the Lord's Supper, teaching, encouragement, worship, prayer, all those things seem to have been part of the church from its earliest appearance. In other passages like Matthew 28 and the Great Commission, we see this commission to disciple, to go out and reach out and bring people to the faith and teach them. In 1 Corinthians 5, we see the responsibility of a church to do church discipline. So what we've done here is simply say, these are some of the things we see that are part of the church and the church life and practice in the New Testament.